All right, what's up, fellas? Hey, gotta get this hat gotta get it, what's the word for it? Fucking leveled? I don't know, symmetrical? Some shit's been laying on it. I don't know. I feel like, is the lighting better there? If I move up, if I move forward. Awesome. How we doing? I see one person on. How you doing? Awesome. How do you like the visual, huh? The visual's exciting. That person left. Who gives a fuck? Just warming up the mandible right now. Hey yo. All right. Let's give it a go. Let's put in the old earplugs here. Let's mix it up, huh? Let's rotate the crops. Awesome. Awesome. Let's flex, huh? Let's fucking flex. All right. Cool. All right. Wonderful. Good. Great. Grand. Wonderful. No yelling on the bus. All right. So let's move this to the background. Let's go ahead and lift this up a little bit. Let's do some of this action. Maybe increase the size of the font. Episode 179. Today's February 15th. Okay, I'm syncing up right now. For anyone on YouTube, I'm just kind of getting ready to do the space shuttle launch, if I may. And we'll take it from there. So testing 1 2 3. We can probably fire up the engines now. Let's see where this takes us, huh? Oh wow, it's not even testing. Okay. Whatever. All right. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Michael Oldroyd Comedy Podcast. This is episode 179. We're recording live here in Tampa, Florida, from a location in which I reside at times. Does that make sense? Is that vague enough? I am broadcasting this live through a 4K camera and high quality sound, if I may, live on my YouTube channel. At the Droid is the handle. I don't know if I have to say at for YouTube, but it is the Droid, TheDroyd. That is my whatever they call the YouTube name. So yeah, if you want to check it out retroactively, or if you want to watch it live, give it a go. Just type in the Droid, click on the live section at the top header there, and see if it tickles your freaking fancy. Once again, Michael Oldroyd here. It is Wednesday, February 15th, 2023, the day after Valentine's Day. Hopefully you guys had a good one. Valentine's Day is one of those days, there's a lot of mixed emotions on it. Seems to be a holiday that's not very liked if you're not in romantic love. Let me remind you, there's a lot of different types of love out there. And if you didn't have romantic love, then hopefully you have some sort of love with a platonic animal, an animal outside of human being. For example, you may have a dog or a cat or a relationship with a whale, like that kid in Free Willy. Whatever it is, I hope you have love. I'm sure you do. We all need love in some way, shape, or form. I'll talk a little bit about my recap on Valentine's Day here in a bit, but I am, long story short, I was conceived on Valentine's Day 37 years ago on my parents' wedding night. So we'll talk about why and how I am Cupid, essentially. So don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate me, hate my arrows that didn't hit you yet. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. So we're going to start our first segment, what's going on in the world. And for the YouTube listeners, this is in between segments right here. If you're familiar with my podcast, you'll know that this is just a quick little musical soundbite. Welcome. Hopefully you guys are doing well. wearing the giddy up because, this is my Valentine's Day, post Valentine's. It's like when Santa got done delivering all the presents. Well, this is how Cupid dresses on his day off, first time in 365 days. So haven't shot any arrows today. Probably much like the Kansas City Chiefs haven't shot any arrows as they celebrate a recent W. But let's go ahead and get into what's going on in the world. All right, here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on in the world? Well, quite a bit. We just had a Super Bowl, just a celebrated Super Bowl Sabbath. I don't know if you guys took a gander, but to give you a recap of it, the Philadelphia Eagles played the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 57 in Glendale, Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, which is near Phoenix. And the Kansas City Chiefs came away with the W. It was a pretty hard-fought fight. It was a good time to watch if you like a good game. Got to see firsthand people slipping around on the turf. People were complaining that the grass there, it's an indoor stadium with real grass. So you could see Kelsey when he scored his first touchdown slip around when he making him look silly after a tremendous catch in the touchdown end zone. I'm talking about Kelsey with the Chiefs, not the one with the Eagles, because the brothers were playing each other. Very exciting stuff. Hey, yo. Yeah, I really don't give much of a shit, I'll be honest, because I'm not playing anymore. I did have a coach from Mizzou who was on the Kansas City staff and coaching squad, happens to be the worst coach I've ever had as far as his respect and integrity toward me. So it's interesting to see that he is now the only coach in the history of my coaches that has a Super Bowl ring, to my knowledge. So I don't have any hard feelings. I hope that he's a better coach to the players now than he was to me and how he treated me. And I'm not even going to single him out by name because I think that would be disrespectful, regardless of how I felt and the level of disrespect I felt that I was treated during our time together. I'm not going to stoop to the level of throwing somebody under the bus. He knows who he is, and God bless the guy. It is a man, by the way, just in case. I know it's 2023, so we got to clarify pronouns. I believe this person goes by him, he, him. I would be surprised if they didn't, and that's not a knock on them. It's actually a compliment because I feel that I'm pretty well aware of his sex. Anyway, God bless the guy, and congratulations to the Chiefs for walking away with the W. Good old Kansas City. Tonka to Tonka, huh? Hey, that's a Dances with Wolves reference. And that's really all I have to say about the Super Bowl. I thought the halftime show was fun. I was waiting for the nip slip, if you will. I was waiting for Janet Jackson's nipple to slip out again. And no, I am not making a racial joke just because Rihanna happens to be black, all right? Even though I can do it because I am part Filipino. Actually, I'm also part black, according to 23andMe. I have 0.01% African in my DNA, so that's just enough to allow me to be vaccinated toward those types of jokes. So that's exciting. Anyway, that is my recap of the Super Bowl. Are you excited that I didn't talk too much about it? You're welcome. I think we're past it. It's over. We can move on. We've flushed it. Congratulations to the Chiefs as they celebrate their parade in downtown Kansas City. Used to live there. Used to live in KC. Great place. Lots of friends of mine. I know one of my former coworkers has a tattoo of the Kansas City Chiefs symbol on his calf. And it's people like him that I'm excited for. He had that when the Chiefs were terrible. So if you're going to go ahead and buy stock when it's low, you deserve to reap the reward when it's high. And right now, Kansas City Chiefs stock is high. So congratulations to him and his calf tattoo. I feel like every time the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, his tattoo has to light up because that would be magnanimous, and it seems appropriate. It seems very appropriate that his Kansas City Chiefs calf tattoo would light up when the Chiefs win. So anyway, got to enjoy those W's, and that's really all I have to say about the Super Bowl. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. I don't know if you enjoyed the commercials, but I thought my favorite commercial was the one with the woman from Missouri, Sarah McLachlan, right? In the arms of an angel, where she was doing a parody of herself while camping and making fun of her commercials, trying to save animals. So interesting phenomena and dynamic there. I thought she was punching down on herself there, which I thought was fun. It's always fun to punch down. For example, you guys probably prefer if I say I have a tiny penis rather than I have a big penis. It's a lot more likable to say I have a tiny penis than it is to say I have a big penis. It's a lot more likable to everyone except the eligible females that may or may not be interested in me, because they'll secretly like it more and potentially sense some BDE if I say I have a big penis. Which market am I really trying to appeal to is the question with that. Am I trying to appeal to the eligible females, or am I trying to appeal to everyone else? Because those are larger quantity numbers right there. So I'm gonna say I have a tiny penis, just to kind of go with the larger demographic there. All right, what else, guys? Chinese balloon getting shot down. Hey-oh, objects getting shot down. You guys watched the news briefing yesterday? Biden's, the press guy. I don't know who that is. Went out, talked about the balloons getting shot down. Very interesting to watch the reporters ask very dumb questions afterwards. That's probably my favorite part, because it's the most entertaining part, because some of these reporters, it's like they're getting paid to ask redundant, dumb questions. I'd love to see the real life Lois Lane interact and ask some of the questions. You guys are probably like, give us an example, Mike. The guy basically laid everything out during the press briefing about the balloons and why we're shooting them down, saying we shot them down for two reasons. One, I can't even remember. I know that one of the reasons was that we can't tell if it was gathering intelligence or not. And the other reason was that, it was potentially interfering with flights, right? So the main reason is the altitude of the recent balloons, not the first spy balloon that we saw a week or two ago that was capturing everyone's attention, but the recent balloons that had been shot down. The main reason was because it may be interfering with commercial flights, the altitude of the balloons potentially interfering, which I think is kind of silly. The other reason is that we don't know for sure that it's not collecting intelligence. So in order to kind of ensure that nothing sketchy hath taking place, we shot him down. So mixed results, in the reporters were jerking each other off and saying things like should we be concerned about blah blah blah, and they're like, hey, I already laid it out there for you. You kind of had to watch the briefing in order to know what I'm talking about. Am I speaking nonsense into the ether that doesn't even land in your cerebellums properly? Probably, because that's just how it goes sometimes, and I apologize if I am not making much sense to you. Either way, I am not concerned about the Chinese spy balloons. I honestly don't give a fuck. Is that fair? Is it fair to say that I don't care and that I'm not concerned or scared? Whether it's fair or not, that's how I feel. So I'm going to stick to that. So that knocks our second bullet point down, or shoots it out of the sky, for lack of a better term. We talked about the Super Bowl and Patrick Mahomes and how he was the MVP. I didn't talk about that, but I'm going to say it now that I feel like he would be a great scalper. I wonder if he would be better at scalping tickets or scalping eagles, huh? And I can say that because I'm part Native American. I really am, actually. And I really did get part black in one of my 23andMe tests. It was a very small amount. So, it's debatable if that's enough to be vaccinated toward making racial jokes of the black category. But by the way, isn't it weird how at one point the proper term for a black person in America was African American, and now that's not as like accepted, or the politically correct term is black. And at one point, black, I feel like, was like not politically correct. So it's weird how stuff like flips around. I feel like, and they use the term brown for Indian. I'm part Indian, Native American, not Indian from India. But I feel like brown just sounds like a weird term to me. And then we don't call Asian people yellow. We don't say we shot out that yellow spy balloon. I just feel like referring to the color of one's skin as kind of like notate. I find it racially insensitive, even if it's currently accepted. I don't know. Society, it's weird how shit changes over time, but who am I to try and combat that or change it? I'm just glad that I have multiple races in my DNA. I'm part Filipino when it is convenient and helpful for me, and I'm white when it's convenient and helpful for me. Does that make sense? When someone's like, "What's your race?" I say, "Well, what race is going to get me the most work?" Because we do live in a time period where being white is a disadvantage in some ways, or at least it has been the last few years, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, because you do not fight racism with racism. All that does is beget more racism. So you fight racism with love. And that's my exclamation point on Black History Month. I've talked about it in each of the last couple of episodes. And hopefully you guys are enjoying your Black History Month. I did watch 2 movies recently that follow and honor that. One was The Woman King. I watched that, finished it on my flights recently. Was in St. Louis last weekend, so enjoyed finishing The Woman King. I didn't realize the star of that was John Boyega, who was in Star Wars. He was the dude who flipped from the dark side to the light, and that is not a racial connotation at all. He is the dude who started off as a stormtrooper in episode 7 and befriended Rey, and then now he's doing movies like The Woman King, and I thought he did a great job. And I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but he is not the Woman King, just to let you guys know. He is a male king in that movie. He goes by he, him, not they, them, or she, her. And he did a great job, and so did the Woman King and the Woman King's child. And that's all I'm going to say. If you want to know what it's about the history of Africa and the slave trade, and how some Africans sold other Africans and some fought to eradicate slavery because they saw it as an evil system. And I really liked the storyline, and how good prevailed, and how John Boyega and his people were on the side of good and eradicating slavery and the slave trade as a whole, and not participating in furthering that whole thing. So what else? I watched Black Panther. Wakanda Forever, so Black Panther 2. Michael B. Jordan did make an appearance. I talked about him last week, and it is on Disney Plus. So I don't know if it started streaming like my prediction was, which is February 1st, 2023, because I thought if they're going to put it on there, I bet you it's going to be there starting in Black History Month. Loved it. Couldn't tell at one point if I was watching Avatar 2 or Black Panther 2, or The Woman King.
I'm like, which movie am I watching right now? Is this Woman King? Is it Avatar 2? Is it Black Panther 2?
The reason if you've seen the movies, you'll know what I'm talking about. One, because water was involved, aka the Avatar joke. And then two, because, female kings. You know what I mean? Female kings, you know what I'm saying? So I thought that they honored Chadwick Boseman and King T'Challa. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot. I liked that they dedicated it to him at the end. I don't want to give away too much, but I did. I enjoyed it. It was different. The protagonist and the antagonist of the show obviously shifted with King T'Challa's passing. However, they incorporated the memory of his character and his influence just in a very special way, and he does influence us currently still as what he left on this earth as well, not just in the movie but as an actor and what he did. So shout out to him, RIP, and great job to I don't know how people feel about this. I never look at or read reviews because I don't like critics because it's negative, so I don't know what the critics are saying, nor do I care. I enjoyed it. Still haven't seen Avatar 2, even though I thought I was potentially watching Avatar 2. Still really enjoyed it. So now we have talked about the Super Bowl. We've talked about China spy balloon. And we've talked about the Woman King, Avatar 2, and Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, which those were 3 movies in one. So that is my summary there. Last week, didn't talk about the earthquake in Turkey. This week, not going to talk much about it, but I will say it is a big, important thing that's going on in the world, and it sucks. And a lot of people are in a tough situation and have been for several days now because of the big earthquake that is in Turkey. It kind of reminds me of that volcano story of Pompeii, even though this one wasn't a volcano, but it's just a tough time for a lot of people there in Turkey. And Turkey reminds me of Adam Sandler's Thanksgiving song, but that's very insensitive, so I'm not going to go down that road at the moment. Let's talk about George Santos. Funniest tweet I've seen was getting to play in the Super Bowl was a big deal for me. But even bigger of a deal was my family being able to see me play in the Super Bowl in front of all those people. Quote by George Santos. So my friend Mark Helfgott wrote that recently, and I got a kick out of it. Thought it was pretty funny. He's been getting a lot of heat the last several weeks. I haven't really talked about George Santos other than, takes a lot of character to just completely make shit up about your resume. And then to lie to basically everybody. So that's always intriguing, very intriguing, George Santos. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse or a whatever George Santos is. So that's what I'll say about that. Let's go ahead and move on. Did you guys watch the State of the Union? I watched clips, pieces. Biden didn't talk much about the China spy balloon. But I heard it was decent. I guess there was Marjorie Taylor, or whatever her name is, aka Cruella DeVille, I guess was very vocal about it. Apparently we did finally eventually get a Speaker of the House, that McCarthy guy, after 15 tries. Hey, you know what they say, ladies, right? If it doesn't work on the first 14 tries, give it one more, huh? Am I right? So apparently he did consensually become the new Speaker of the House, I guess a couple weeks back or whatever. So, hey-o, do I give a fuck? No. I mean, I don't know. I didn't even know what the Speaker of the House does. Apparently, anyone can be Speaker of the House. That one guy, Matt Gaetz, when they were still looking for a Speaker of the House, he nominated Donald John Trump. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I could be the Speaker of the House, right? I mean, I'm speaking right now in a house and I'm doing my podcast. So if anyone needs a Speaker of the House in the future, look no further than Miguel Old R2D2, and we can have a great time doing politics. Huh? enough politics for this. Let's move on. All right. Apparently, the IRS is considering coming down on the service industry for waiters and reporting tips. So, bartenders, waiters, hosts, and hostesses, look out. Wouldn't that be a doozy if you could no longer make money under the table, huh? So, strippers, hey, you're gonna have to start paying taxes on that titty money. Sorry if that was a little vulgar, but just trying to spread news, spread updates, not spread gonorrhea, if you know what I'm saying. All right. Just state and news updates. State and news updates. What else? Do you guys have any questions for me so far? All right, I'll move on since I don't see any hands in the air. It's fun doing this. Do I sound different? Do I sound the same? How does it feel with me doing these live recordings on YouTube with a video visual? Do you like it? Does it arouse you in any way? Do you feel like you want to masturbate? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is, but I am trying to continue to be myself. Isn't that a weird irony? Hey, just out here trying to be myself. Like, how do you just are yourself? I am myself, you know? So that's what I'm doing as I'm being myself. Whether I'm trying to be or not, I am succeeding because I'm just me. All right, let's move on. You guys want to talk about Valentine's Day? Let's go ahead and do it. All right. Good old Valentine's Day, Saint Valentine. Apparently, Valentine's Day is a phenomenon. Let's Google something. Valentine, Valentine, right? As they say over in. Can't really say that, can I now? Even though I am part Asian. All right. Did you have a good Valentine's Day? All right. So I am the Cupid. I am the one Cupid that you may or may not know or have heard of. I do have some arrows that I'm I fired off as many arrows as I was supposed to. As fate allowed and called for. But yes, the decision of who falls in love lays upon yours truly. I was conceived on Valentine's Day 37 years ago, as I said at the beginning of this podcast. My parents were married on Valentine's Day 1986, 37 years ago. It was their wedding anniversary yesterday. 37 years together. Give it up for them. I'll wait for the applause. Thank you very much. It's a really cool story, actually. My dad got married at age 40, so I'm getting closer to his day there. He waited. He's been married once, married for the right reasons, married for love. Married my mom. They were friends for 5 years before they even started dating, or before they got married. I forget. My mom was married when they met, and they became friends. And she got a divorce because the guy was, I think he was actually abusive. He was an alcoholic. Anyway. My mom was married twice before she met my dad. Not to put too much of her business out there, but third time's a charm, right? So they've been married since. By far the longest marriage of my mom's life. And my dad, I'm his only child. My mom had 2 kids in her first marriage. I'm my dad's only son. So my dad fired me into the universe right out of his urethra on his wedding night, age 40. Got me on the first try. Haven't had any kids since, you know? So that's fun. My dad tore it up. He, good for my parents I'm a love child, right? So they got married this is a unique thing. They got married in a glass chapel in California overlooking like beautiful hillside / I've been there. I've been to the glass chapel where they were married, and it was absolutely breathtaking. And it happened to rain. So my dad booked the chapel for sunset, I think, and it ended up pouring rain during their wedding vows. So it was black nighttime. Not a racial slur. It was nighttime and it was pouring rain, which is always a good omen. I've seen the pictures. It was beautiful. And I was there in spirit, maybe, or in my dad's knutsack. And I was fired out like an arrow. And that's not a play on words. You could say ERRO also, because I think arrow is the god of love. And I'm not trying to say that I'm the god of love, but I am love. I am the product of love. So my mom continues to tell me that I'm here for a reason and that it will all unfold. So, guys, if you believe that or not, my mom does believe that I'm here for a reason. She also believes that I'm going to marry Taylor Swift. I did write the male version of the song Lover. If you guys want to check that out on my YouTube channel here, I made a music video for it. I think it's Lovey is what I call it, the male version of her song Lover. I call it Lovey. And you're welcome if I've already shot you with one of my arrows. And if not, just be thankful with what you got. if I have shot you and you're not happy, hey, be thankful for what you got. Could be worse. You could have been shot by one of Patrick Mahomes. You could have been shot by one of Patrick Mahomes' arrows. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what it is. No complaints, right? Is Cupid doing it solo? Yeah, at one point I'm going to shoot myself with an arrow, but I've been enjoying the single life for quite some time. Have I ever been in love? Yes. I did have a girlfriend once, and our anniversary was Valentine's Day. And you know how it goes. If you love something, you set it free. And if it comes back to you, then you're living in a fantasy land. No, I give it up for my former girlfriend who is happily married with children. And what was I gonna say about that? Yeah. So yeah, Bruce Almighty. You guys remember that prayer in Bruce Almighty when he's talking to Morgan Freeman and he says, "Do you want her back?" Well, he says, "What do you really care about, Bruce?" And he says, "Grace." Right? And he said, "Grace." He said, "Do you want her back?" And Bruce said, "No." And God looked surprised for the first time. And he goes, "Huh?" And he said, "I want her to be happy, and I want her to give her everything that she deserved from me, and to see her always as I do now through your eyes, God." And guess what? I made that same prayer, and God also answered yes. However, didn't give her to me. You know what I mean? So that's the what do they call it? The tragic flaw of the Antigone, or what? I don't even know what I'm saying. Anyway, let's give it up for that. And that's why I fucking